Hello friends, happy Friday to you all. I hope your weekend is off to a great start, and this is a holiday weekend for folks here in the US at least. So all you America-loving patriots, happy 4th of July. All the rest of you, I hope you have a really good Friday. So how is it going tonight? I've had a great day. Got my car back. I'll tell you about that. Interesting, very interesting. And I am drinking a Guinness Extra Stout, which means I've actually dug my way back to the beer fridge. So we're getting organized. I've been saying that for about 6 years. We're getting organized. Let's see. Let's make sure I should be broadcasting this. So hopefully you can all hear me. And, oh, by the way, I've got the Matches Memorial Friday Savinelli with Haunted Bookshop, as is tradition. And I'm enjoying that. We're going to have another tradition later on. It's a night of traditions here. So let's see who we've got in so far. Steve Russell, Ron Hardcrackers, Doug Owen. Good to see you guys. Doug, yes, I am very short to respond to your rooster point. St. David's Pipes, good to see you. David Corvette Jim, nice to see you, Jim. Signal Man Tony from Rhode Island, hello there. And Michael Case, what's up, Doc? Indeed. Cliff Higgins, happy Independence Day weekend, Cliff. Great to see you. Cliff's a farmer, I found out today. I mean, he doesn't want to admit it, but yeah, he's a farmer. Bob Kraus, good to see you tonight. Texas Piper, how you doing tonight, Eddie? I think I saw Steve and Miss Kathy, Bearwolf and Miss Kathy earlier. Good to see you guys. And now I'm just waiting for names to refresh. So, yeah, Haunted Bookshop, good stuff. Happy. I've got for later tonight, I don't know if you're going to remember this, but I remembered it. Last 4th of July, I had the pleasure of opening a jar of Edgeworth slices that my friend Nick had kindly sent to me. Nick, if you're out there, thank you again, my friend, and we got to catch up soon. Haven't talked to Nick in quite a while. He moved. He was in Oklahoma, and I believe he's now in Florida. But we still occasionally message one another, and always good to hear from Nick. So I'm going to be having some of that Edgeworth slices because the last time I had it was on 4th of July last year. Wayne, can't read your last name, Wayne. Wayne Lolly, hello to you, Wayne. Lord Hogarth. Armchair Piper, happy 4th to you, sir. Got myself some new reading glasses today. I know they look a little bit dorky, but they're great because they're trifocal. So I can read with them, I can use the computer with them, and I can actually wear them if I get up to walk around or something. I had these before and I lost them, and I said, well, I'm just going to lose them again. I hate paying, these were like $38 when you can get, 10 of the other ones for like $8 or something. But these are really fantastic because I spend most of my day reading what's in my hand and reading what's on the computer. And then I'll like get up to, go to the restroom or something, and I forget to take them off. And by the time I get back to my desk, I'm dizzy. So these will be very good, and I can read names. So Big Country Briar, hello Cole, good to see you tonight. I think that's got me caught up. So I thought we'd have a little bit of fun tonight. In a little bit we'll play some trivia. I got some new trivia, so it's not pipe related, but it'll be fun. Taciturn Richard, happy Independence Day to you, sir. Big Dave, great to live in America indeed. But then again, it's just great to live, isn't it? Mark Vejnar, or Venyar. Hope I'm not mispronouncing that, Mark. Good to see you. Yes, Eddie, Benjamin Franklin did indeed invent the that technology. The Urban Hermit, how you doing tonight, Everett? And Jim's all lined up. Hey, Jim, I might actually drop a drop a question in that's a plant for you, so keep your ears open. Does anyone know anything about Barling pipes marked Barling's make Nassau? Know a bit about Barling, but never seen the Nassau designation. I sure don't, Doug. But if anyone else knows anything about Barling's make Nassau, let us know. Vayner. Sorry, Mark. I'll try to remember that. Astigmatism, they don't work for me. Oh, sorry, Michael. Yeah, that'll mess you up for sure. For sure. Humdrum, happy 4th to you, sir. Oh, wife's birthday as well. Wondering what to get her. Well, you don't want to ask us. I usually buy my wife some tobacco for her birthday. She doesn't smoke. I get her other things, but I always buy tobacco. And I tell her that I bought it for her because I thought she might like the smell of it as I'm smoking it. And she doesn't care. Clips a chicken tender, that's funny. Big Dave is asking me what the founding fathers have for pipe tobacco. I'm not that old, Dave. So it looks like we're drawing a blank on the Barlings made by Nassau there, Doug. James Stumbo, how you doing tonight, James? Good to see you. Welsh Piper 62, good to see you. Good point there, Mark. Giving her tobacco is giving her the gift of a relaxed husband. And who wouldn't want that? Boris the Piper, good to see you, Boris. So, maybe I am that old. I was just about to turn around and get something, and I have honestly forgotten what I was about to do. Oh, James Stumbo, that's it. Speaking of James Stumbo, James kindly got in touch with me the other day and offered, and I happily accepted, to send me 1/4 of his tin of Haunted Bookshop cake or flake or whatever they're calling it. I haven't opened it yet, haven't even sniffed the bag. It just came in the mail today. And I was on the fence about this. You know, I wasn't going to buy it. Curious, but not curious enough because I pressed it in the past. But James said he'd really like to hear from somebody that smokes it a lot, and I have the dubious distinction of smoking it a lot. So I said, sure, if he's happy to send it along, I'm happy to give it a shot, and I will try to do this maybe on Sunday. I'd like to smoke a bowl before I talk about it, and then I'll smoke a bowl on Sunday. I don't want to do like a first impression on this, and there's not a lot of it, so I don't want to like go back and forth too many times. Well, I shouldn't say there's not a lot of it. I think this is like 1/4 of the tin, but anyway, thank you, James. Very much appreciated. Thank you to your wonderful wife for mailing it out so quickly, and it arrived exactly when she said it would arrive. I'm impressed. Oh, Eddie, that's interesting. Pegasus cake. That may actually be really interesting. Paul the Piper, how you doing, Paul? Good to see you. You know, the Pegasus has a lot of black Cavendish in it, which might make a difference in the pressing. I look forward to hearing about that, Eddie. In fact, I've got probably about 8 or 10 ounces of Pegasus left upstairs that I'm thinking about putting in a jar because I've been really enjoying the old Joe Krantz in the morning. So maybe I'll press it instead. Thanks to Eddie's inspiration. If nothing else, it stores easier. Well, James, there's nothing cheaper than my thoughts, so I'll be happy to share them with everyone. Doug is weighing in on what the founding fathers smoked. Doug's older than me, so something like Rustica, probably very strong in the nicotine department. That might make sense. I doubt there were any like tobacco companies then, right? Because that was 1700s. When was Sir Walter Raleigh was 1680, something like that? Might be about 100 years, maybe. I don't know. Yes, Welsh Piper 62. This is the tribute pipe, the Matches Memorial pipe. The Haunted Bookshop. Oh, a video for me on Haunted Bookshop finally. Well, so many people have done Haunted Bookshop videos, Eddie. I never really thought it was worth doing. Everything to be said has been said. And Everett is having Haunted Bookshop in his Friday Savinelli. There's Phil Rivera. Hello, Phil. Good to see you tonight. Woody can see a Barlings makes Nassau. It's probably just the name of a lineup. We're getting somewhere, Doug. There we go. I'm using my Nimrod Admiral tonight. I was thinking today, this design, I mean, I love Zippos, but this design is probably the best pipe lighter in a what's the word I'm looking for? A fluid-filled non-butane lighter. This is the best pipe lighter design I've ever had. Really, really like it. Oh, wait a minute. I'm missing all sorts of tobacco history stuff here. I gotta back up. So, Big Country Briar says if you go to the Richmond show, it's a very short drive over to Jamestown. I've always wanted to go to Jamestown. And they have a history of tobacco. Oh, well, that's like a must go, must do. And Mark Vanyar is saying no, they had Rustica but hated it. John Rolfe bought Cuban seeds to the New World and saved Jamestown. Jamestown was failing before he showed up with smuggled seeds from Havana. Interesting. JMZ56, hey John, glad you're back to normal. Navy plug, says Lord Hogarth. Armchair Pipers saying pressed a rolled tobacco. Rope Tobaccos from Gary Edminster. How you doing, Gary? Big Dave is asking, what is the oldest pipe tobacco that's still in production? Huh. That's an interesting question. I don't know. Cliff is saying maybe Velvet? No. Does it count if it was in production, went out of production, has been brought back? Sir Walter Raleigh hit the market around 1900. Okay. That's actually earlier than I would have thought, Doug. But I don't know. I just didn't realize it was that old. I don't know, but I would guess that like if you're going to allow for things that have been brought back, something like Warhorse, those Gallagher tobaccos, were they pre 1900? Galveston Hogarth is from 1792. Ah, so 1792 flake, that makes sense, yeah. And Doug's saying 1792 flake as well. That makes perfect sense. Well, we all seem to be agreeing that it's Galwith and Hogarth, so let's just go with that. Cliff says that Christopher Columbus smoked 1492 flake, but that's out of production now. Yeah, and I understand around 1495 they changed the recipe. Yeah, for sure. I mean, Paul the Piper's pointing out twists were from mid 18th century. You know, a lot of the for transport purposes, a lot of the tobaccos were made into uh, twists, ropes, things like that. They were easy to pack on ships, and they kept longer, and they could also be chewed or smoked. Steve Russell, man after my own heart, smoked 1792 in the morning before breakfast. I have to admit, I don't think I've ever had 1792. Is that the one that's got the heavy Tonkin bean? Smoking Kentucky Piper, happy Friday to you. Smoking Kentucky Friday wanted to come out of my mouth. Good stuff, huh, Steve? It is the Tonkin bean. Okay, yeah, that's the one that I don't think I've had. Bona Piper, good to see you tonight, Christian. Must be feeling better, buddy. Jeffrey says the 1792 is some serious business. I think I'm going to take your word for it. Between the Tonkin bean and the fact that it's hard to get. Paul the Piper's asking what's Tonkin bean, and it really sounds like a joke. I wish I had a snappy response to that. Like, what's a henway? Paul, I'm going to let somebody that actually knows the answer. I mean, it's a bean, and it's an extract from the Tonkin bean, which I believe is we've had this come up before, and I get it wrong. I think it's ricin that comes from the Tonkin bean, but it's not. It's something else. A very bad toxin can be isolated from the tonkin bean. St. David's Pipe is letting us know he deleted his Instagram account, and it's nothing personal. No, St. David, I admire you. Anybody that's moving away from the quagmire that social media has become, we'll miss you though. Oh, is the bean a good well? It's just it's a topping that goes on the blend, Paul. You're not actually smoking the bean. I don't think you'd want to smoke the bean. I think it would probably kill you. Yeah, ricin comes from the castor bean. Thank you, John. I get that wrong all the time, but I can't remember what it is that comes from the tonkin bean. But it's not good. But that's not why I don't want to smoke it. I don't want to smoke it because I don't. It's Lakelandy. Sailor, how you doing, Sailor? Weighing in with ricin from the castor bean again. This is about the 4th time I've gotten this wrong, and you guys are so good at getting it correct. Everett says that the Urban Hermit says that tonkin bean has coumadin, that is a blood thinner, harmful in very large doses, actually is a common component in rat poisoning. So yes. The Smooth Piper, how you doing, Peter? Happy 4th of July weekend. Yeah, I'm not going to smoke any castor beans anytime soon, Mark. Jeffrey's saying he remembers enjoying Bracken Flake. I don't know that I've heard of that one. So many tobaccos out there. So should we coumadin or coumarin? Probably related, Phil. I think I'm done with my haunted bookshop here. So how about I pack a bowl of this Edgeworth slices and we get on with some trivia. And this is just going to be for fun. We'll do a couple questions. If people want me to go on, I'll do it. If you just want to shoot the breeze, we can do that too. But we've done trivia the past couple 4th of July shows, so. That's right, Urban Hermit. I think Haunted Bookshop actually has multiple health benefits. Now, if we top some Haunted Bookshop with tonkin bean, we could have Haunted Bean. That would probably cancel out the benefits, but you would be okay. Brackish Flake is what you get from a shipwreck in 1792. That's a good one, Cole. Okay. Coumadin is the brand name for coumarin, which is the actual compound. Gotcha, Phil. Lord Hogarth, I'm guessing your mom screamed because she had had castor oil for a sore throat at some point. It's not a pleasant thing to swallow. That's interesting, Mark. He soured 3 nuns in a jar that held cloves, and he's got an amazing experience. Very interesting. Andrew Womble is asking if Edgeworth Slice tastes similar to Sutliff Match. I've never had Sutliff Match, so I've had original Edgeworth ready rubbed. I've had Lane's ready rubbed, and those are, I can't really distinguish between them. I had Edgeworth slices last year, and I think I've had them in the past, and they're very good and very similar to those other blends. So, but I haven't had the Sutliff match. Oh, that's interesting, Boris. His friend found some old Finnish pipe tobacco and related stuff. One was Kasu, which is rustica in Finnish, odorant, so probably topping. And it looks like a thin oil that has big letters coumarin on it. Very interesting. Well, let me get my next pipe and the Edgeworth out. So this is the Edgeworth slices that my friend Nick sent me. So it's dated 4/20/21, which is when he got it, but it's got to be older than that because they weren't making it in 2021. And I'm going to be putting this in my little Phil Rivera. I call it a pot. I don't know what Phil called it, but I'm a little embarrassed to say it because Phil's sitting right there laughing at me. I am terrible when it comes to pipe shapes. And I'm just going to be sort of rolling this a little bit and then dropping it in, which is how I usually deal with flakes. This is, it's kind of worse for the wear, but let's see. Yeah, you get a pretty good idea of what this looks like. Very dark bacon looking. And this, I haven't looked it up in a while, but I believe it's a Burley Virginia blend, heavy on the burley, with some of the old style cocoa molassesy topping. Yeah, Doug, it is quite wonderful. Doug's saying hasn't been on the market for decades. Aged Burley and Virginia combination. Ambrosia, indeed. Ah, Phil, thank you. You made me feel better. Pot or squat billiard, either way, it's a pipe. Yes, I'm going to be smoking it in a pipe. Thank you, St. David Pipe, and Paul the Piper as well for cheering people on to hit the thumbs up. It's not a vanity thing. It really does help the algorithm suggest this to other folks and helps us keep going. Yeah, it helps us build the pipe club. Welsh Piper, 1:30 a.m. Eyes playing up. All right, will you go have a rest? You have a great weekend, buddy. Thanks for joining us. Artie, how you doing, Artie? Good to see you tonight. J-Dog, Pimp Daddy C. How you doing, J-Dog? Got some of that Wessex curly block from Paul Papa Bearnook and had a little bowl the day I received it. It was one of the best stuff he ever smoked. Good deal. Drunk fireworks have started. Yeah, we've had them all week. And it's amazing that, I'm hearing fireworks like from a house, a lawn 3 houses away that sound like what you would hear at a fireworks, like a city sponsored fireworks display. We went from not that long ago having a law against all fireworks, I mean, even little firecrackers in Pennsylvania, to people having full-blown fireworks displays in their backyards. Oh, Doug, I am impressed. Believe me, it's wonderful stuff. It's very smooth. The burley flavor is fantastic in this. And it's got some of that, I don't know what to call it. What comes to mind is the word antique. It's like smoking something you find in the attic of an old house. If that makes any sense to anyone. But having said that, minus the age and that antiquiness to it, I really do believe that the Lane Ready Rubbed was similar, very similar. Voodoo07, how you doing, Voodoo? Good to see you tonight. Lord Hogarth says he had a drunk friend that had a bottle rocket go up his shirt. Yeah, I've heard worse stories than that, believe me. So let's try out this new trivia. And again, we're not going to keep score. We're just doing this for fun. I do have a great new sound effect though. Grandma's ashes. Phil, that's terrible. Hit oh mothball. No, it's not. Maybe I shouldn't have said attic, but you know what I mean. All right, just for that, I'm going to ask a really obscure question for the first question. This is a new book of trivia that I bought, and I actually bought it today for this. And unfortunately, the questions range from being ridiculously difficult to ridiculously simple with very little in between. But we'll see. This should be fun. And again, there's no prizes, no scoring. We're just having some fun here. So, number one, where is the Gumbo Limbo Trail? The Gumbo Limbo Trail. No, Voodoo, not that kind of antique. Louisiana, Africa, no. Jamaica, no. No Googling allowed indeed, Doug. Thank you. The Bermuda Triangle? No. Oklahoma. Out Stumbo's back door? No. Little east of that. Keys, you're very warm, Jim. Very warm. Paul the Piper says Florida. You know what? I'm going to give it to Codger Jim and Paul the Piper. I hope that worked. Something weird happened here. I may have to not use the sound effect. Answers are popping up way before the question is asked. Yeah, there's something. That's why I don't want to do this with prizes, because the delay is so bad. And now I've really messed up my stream here. I mean, it's probably not affecting you, but it's affecting what I see. The tone worked, but the problem is I have to work on this. So I don't know if you guys know this. I didn't know this, but there are hotkeys that work when you're watching YouTube. So when you press, for example, the number 1, it apparently jumps you back to the beginning of the video you're watching. And I assigned the number 1 to that sound, which jumped me back to the beginning. So I had to reset all that. But we'll maybe use it again. We'll see. Let me know if it's annoying. If it's annoying, I won't use it. Is bacon old-fashioned considered a patriotic pipe tobacco? Asked Big Dave. I don't know. All right, let's try another one. And so I saw somebody ask if that was one of the easy ones. No, that. In my opinion, that was one of the hard ones. Let's see. What is the name of the river that runs through Paris? I didn't realize bacon old fashioned was a risky blend, Phil. The saying is correct, Boris. We'll go ahead and risk trouble. Yeah. Oh, what happened? Now everything's black here. Good enough. The saying was indeed correct. The Paris River. That's a good second choice there, Ed. So let's see. I'm gonna see if I can jump around in this book because it's arranged by topic, and I don't want to ask any more geography questions. How about some nature and science? Oh, Big Dave, if you would have asked me, you would have asked me like 48 hours ago, I would be able to play Stars and Stripes Forever to the correct answer, but right now we're just stuck with that. I could switch to the foghorn or the clown bell if you'd rather have those. So let's do some nature and science trivia here. What does the constellation name Corona Borealis mean? Corona Borealis. What does that name mean? The name of a constellation. Corvette Jim wants more cowbell. I wish I had a cowbell, Jim. Halo something. Kinda. Kinda, Phil. Large cigar. No, Doug. Cliff Higgins says, Boris wears a crown. Northern Lights, no, Cole, but I'm sorry, Steve, but you got part of it. Aboard Corona beer? Could be, Jim, but no. No, it's not the Northern Lights. Remember, this is a constellation. Hey, Patrick Grant, how you doing, buddy? Ring of Lights. Crown of Lights. Oh, we're getting close. Cliff was right. What did Cliff say? Horus wears a crown. Yeah, we should probably go with that. The Aurora Borealis run, that would be the Northern Lights, with Aurora being lights. The Corona Borealis, yeah, folks are getting hung up on Ring and Halo. Yes, Crown is right, Phil. So you got to put them together. An asteroid is going to hit the Earth. So Corona is Crown and Borealis is Northern. It's a Northern Crown. All right. This is a good one, and I bet some of you guys get this one. Artie, you're being funny, I hope, or are you just now answering the last question? I hope that's a joke, because if it's not, you're lagging by a full question. Tim Fournier, how you doing, Tim? We can start, Val. Very good. The Northern Crown, yes, we're getting it now. Here, I'll give you a foghorn for the Northern Crown. Where's the professor when you need him? Yeah, it's funny as I'm trying to correct the every time I hit a number, it jumps back in the video. So I try to push it forward so I have some idea of where I'm at. And every time I do that, the little Chromecast thing pops up asking me if I want to cast this to the living room television. And I think it would be quite hilarious if I did that while my wife's watching something. She'd probably wonder what the heck was going on. Our careers as astronauts is over. Indeed, Cole. Not that I really had much of an aspiration there. All right, this one I think some of you might get. The interrupter gear enabled machine guns to shoot through the plane's propeller. Which German company produced it? Today's episode of Matlock. Yes, I would be interrupting Hallmark Christmas. That's true, Jim. Was not Krupp, Lord Hogarth. Not Daimler. No, Big Dave. Not Stuka. Not BMW. Not Mercedes. Not Volkswagen. Okay, maybe we're not going to get this. Not Luftwaffe. BMW, Siemens, Volkswagen, no. I have to admit, I did not know the answer to this one, but when I saw the answer, I thought, oh, this is probably going to be an easy one for some of you. But I guess I was wrong about that. Hotchkiss? No. Messerschmitt, Bosch, Bayer, Volker. You're close, Gary. I think you're probably thinking of Volker, which is the correct answer. So we'll give Gary a clown one. There we go. Volker. F-O-K-K-E-R. Good guesses though. Tesla? No, Doug. Uh, okay, let's move on because let's see if we can get some nature in here. Ah, here we go. What kind of bear's mark is distinctive due to its 5 claw marks? I was very careful pronouncing that, Cliff. I was aware of the potential issue. What bear's mark is distinct due to its 5 claw mark? So if you see this bear's mark on a tree, there would be 5 claws scratched. A big one indeed, Jim. JMZ 56, a grizzly is indeed correct. And Cliff Higgins comes in with grizzly as well. Hope I didn't miss a grizzly. Taciturn Richard thought it might be Yogi. I don't know which type of bear Yogi was, but maybe. All right, St. David, thanks for joining us. You have a happy 4th. Great weekend, buddy. Big Country Briar came in with grizzly as well. Armchair Piper thought it might be a really big bear, which is technically correct. And Paul the Piper thought it might be a teddy bear. Yes, lots of good possibilities, but the answer is grizzly. What is the only bird that can fly backwards? Oh, Doug told an Ollie and Sven joke that I can't repeat. Big Dave got it. Phil Rivera came in a close second with Hummingbird. Very good. I should have waited a bit longer. Uh-oh. What did I do? Should have waited a bit longer because I think I might have overlapped the 2 questions for some people. A dead one? I don't think they fly at all. Bird of paradise will fly backwards up your nose. Must have been a species of hummingbird. The reverse kingfisher. And Tim's middle finger. I know, Gary, the lag must be pretty bad for some folks because I'm getting answers long after I've given the answer and moved on to the next question. Got to come up with a better way to do contests. I mean, this is just for fun, but I don't like it when we're giving something away and I got to have people deal with that kind of lag. So if you want to take a minute and reload your browser, Gary, sometimes that helps. New series, The Flying Dead, about zombie birds. We'll do one more and then we'll take a break and see if we want to do any more of this, but I figure you guys will like this one. What animal, besides humans, has sex for reasons of pleasure, not only for reproduction? A wood animal has sex for reasons of pleasure, not just for reproduction. Ducks, chimpanzees, monkeys, apes. Name that pipe. The answer is indeed dolphins. Fantastic. And Corvette Jim, that's not nice. Paul the Piper says government. Popeye and Olive Oil. Popeye and Olive Oil were, well, they were cartoons, I guess, but Clinton. It's not all animals, sailor. It's not true. Puny Pipe Man claims his Chihuahua. Maybe your Chihuahua is part dolphin. Phil says there's a species of monkey that also does. Could be, Phil. I mean, and you know, for all I know, there's lots of animals that do, but I remember one study back in my grad school days that looked at, I'm fairly certain it was chimpanzees, and they were doing imaging to see the pleasure centers in the brain, and basically there is no pleasure response. They don't get that dopamine surge and stuff that humans get. It's a very different drive, and it seems to be more of a, you know, evolutionary continuation of the species, get the job done kind of thing rather than pleasure. And of course, the vast majority of animals only mate during particular seasons and when the female is receptive, you know, able to conceive. So humans will obviously not wait for that. They'll go at it anytime. I'm sorry, Doug, I didn't mean to dismiss one of your childhood heroes there, but, you know, I'm sorry, that's funny. The monkey's in my circus. Voodoo. I'm not even really sure I know what that means, but it's funny. I'm a Popeye fan, and I was watching one the other day, because it's on Saturday mornings. So actually, I get up at the same time every day, but even if I didn't, I would get up early on Saturday morning to watch Popeye. And there was an episode on where, you know, Popeye comes over to see Olive Oil, and she asks them to watch Sweet Pea while she goes and does something. And I realized that I don't know where Sweet Pea came from. You know, Olive Oil, who's this obviously single woman that Popeye's constantly trying to court, and Bluto is constantly getting in there and causing trouble, and he has to beat him up. Well, where did Sweet Pea come from? I don't think it's ever explained. Now, Popeye's got the nephews, which is also a little odd because they all look like him. But I don't know, I think there was stuff going on in the minds of those people that are writing it that we may never know. Phil's not going to be swim with dolphins anytime soon. Sorry, Phil, didn't mean to geek out too much, but yeah, I'm sure there are monkeys that do that, Phil. I'm not disputing you. I'm just saying that it's an unusual thing in the animal kingdom. Paul's an admirer of Olive Oil's legs. So Name That Pipe says the stork brought Sweet Pea, and Gary Edminster says Sweet Pea was dropped off in a basket with a note. I'll buy both of those. It's cartoon land. It's okay. Doug is saying I've opened a huge can of worms with dolphins. One sexist mentioned the gloves come off. As far as Sweet Pea goes, Pluto is suspect. And Cliff has named that species of monkey that Phil was trying to come up with. Sweet Pea is Sweet Pea Olive's brother? I don't know. Wimpy is Sweet Pea's father. I wish I hadn't brought this up. Because I do like Popeye. The other thing I've noticed about it is that Olive Oyl is actually a horrible human being. Because she seems to be enamored with Popeye. She always talks about Popeye coming to take her out, and Popeye's her man and stuff like that. And then he'll take her to a bullfight, and the Matador, who's Bluto, but he's not called Bluto because he's the Matador, winks at her, and all of a sudden she's like swooning over him and gets into all this mess, and Popeye has to go and waste another can of spinach and get her out of it. And, she causes these problems. Tim Fournier says Olive lumbers around like Bernie Kosar. That's hilarious. And yeah, Phil thinks that Sweet Pea might have had to be protected from an evil uncle. Sweet Pea was adopted, according to Corvette Jim. Ah, Phil, it's more fun to try to figure it out, but yeah, I guess you could Google it. Oh yeah, the Jeep and the Goon. Then you're getting into a really weird area, Gary. She does play the guys like mad, Paul. Big Dave still on Dolphins. Oh, I knew you'd like that question. Name That Pipe is asking, did you, I guess all of us, like the Robin Williams Popeye movie? I I liked it because it was Robin Williams, and he's just fun. He was fun to watch. I didn't like it as a Popeye movie, but I don't think I'd like any Popeye movie because Popeye was a cartoon and was a rather grotesque and ridiculous cartoon, so it would be hard to translate that into a movie. But I thought it was an entertaining thing to watch. That's true, Voodoo. Spinach was cheaper. There's actually an episode of Popeye where Bluto buys a crop duster and poisons all the spinach fields, and there's a spinach shortage. Amber Heard would make a good Olive. If we were recasting today, Paul, that's a possibility. Doug Owen has suggested that Sweet Pea might be the product of Wimpy and Bluto. Yeah. Who's to say, right, Doug? Really, Phil? I did not know that. That's really fascinating. Phil says that the cartoon was based on an actual sailor with a medical condition who had huge forearms. Yeah, I see. Phil said that the Jeep was cool, but the Goon was odd, and I agree with you on the Goon. There was a whole Goon Island and like families of goons and stuff. I never understood that, but the Jeep was, it was interesting. It was the kind of thing where you want to know more about it. It just like suddenly showed up one day. Oh, Joita, that's one of my favorites. The Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. The one where they're stuck in the desert and they go into this they finally find a, what would you call it? A town, I guess. Are there towns in the middle of the desert? Um, and Alibaba, who's Bluto, comes riding through and steals everything, and he steals Olive, and they have to go and get her back. That was a good one. There was a special about Popeye, Gary. I didn't see that. I would love to though. And I do, I enjoy the older ones more. But I think it. I don't know if other people agree with this, but I always find that the black and white cartoons were drawn better than the color ones. I think they wound up relying too much on the flash of the color and didn't have to do as nuanced a drawing. Yes, Poop Deck Pappy was a great character, Michael. Yes, Wimpy was in Popeye, Paul. Somebody J. Wimpington, I can't remember his first name. I would gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. Oh, I'm sure, Mark. I'm sure there's it's not an easy job. Plenty of plenty of opportunities to build up your forearms. I don't know Tintin, Paul. I've heard of it, but I don't know it. It might have been a similar character. Yeah, Phil, that's true. That's true. There was a real blunt honesty to the old cartoons that it's refreshing today. Yes, he was fighting Germans. There's one episode where he was fighting the Japanese, and it was so stereotyped in terms of how the Japanese looked and acted that they won't show it on TV anymore. J. Wellington Wimpy. Thank you, Patrick. That was Wimpy's full name. Snafu was a great World War II cartoon. I'll have to look for that, Phil. Not familiar with it. Yeah, this program that I watch is it's Popeye, Pink Panther. Occasionally they'll throw in a Betty Boop. It's rare, but they'll occasionally throw in one of those. And then they have the Inspector, which is pretty good most of the time. And these are more 70s cartoons. And then this god awful thing called Roland and Ratfink, which I won't watch. It depresses me. It's like someone took everything that was wrong with the 70s and compressed it into a cartoon. Mm-hmm. Yes. I grew up with Speedy Gonzales. And honestly, it never made me think poorly of a Mexican. It was a mouse. I, I knew it was a mouse. I don't understand why we have to be afraid of it. Yeah, not much sentimentality in that generation for sure, Lord Hogarth. For sure. I don't know about that episode of Gilligan's Island, Big Dave. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I don't watch it regularly. Oh yeah, those old Superman cartoons, those were really well drawn. Mighty Mouse was wonderful, of course. Yes, Paul. And Corvette Jim is admiring Betty Boop. You know what I noticed looking at the credits a while back when I first started watching this cartoon program, the voice of the inspector. Does anybody know? I will throw in another trivia question. Who voiced the inspector in the Inspector cartoon? That's right, Eddie. I did not assume that the mouse represented the entire population. Yeah. And Paul has named a lot of mice. Danger Mouse was good. Beetle Bailey. I've never seen a Beetle Bailey cartoon. I've seen the comic strip. Oh, the banana splits. Yes. Ah, Big Dave, don't go messing up Johnny Quest for me. Ah, we're getting some guesses on the voice of the inspector. So if you don't know the inspector, he's the French detective who is very inept. And it wasn't Don Adams, it wasn't Jim Backus. Uh-oh. Hopewell is okay, Boris. He's just gotten fire trucks and ambulances arriving. Felix the Cat was a good one, Gary. I really liked Felix the Cat. Now, Tim, the Three Musketeers, that's from that Banana Splits show. And what was that strange live action thing they had with, there was like an island and there were, oh, what the heck was that called? Mighty Mouse and Diaper Man? It wasn't Peter Sellers. Patrick Grant got it right. It was Pat Harrington. Don Mesnick? Not sure. Were there two? I'm assuming you know this better than I do, Patrick. But yes, I was surprised to see that it was Pat Harrington, who is the last person in the world I would think would be doing that bad French accent. Lancelot Link, Secret Chimp. That was a good show. Danger Island. Thank you, John. Yes. And Patrick, Danger Island. That was the show I was thinking of. "56-minute episodes of Beetle Bailey were produced in the early 60s. Wow. Something else I gotta look for, name that pipe. That's interesting. And Gary's raising the Flintstones as a cartoon as well. Dagwood and Blondie? Yes. I remember Dagwood and Blondie comic strips. I remember Dagwood and Blondie movies, but not cartoons. And it might just be that I missed them. Lord Hogarth is asking, what was the cartoon with the wise turtle who kept rescuing a young one from predicaments? I do not remember that at all, Lord Hogarth. Michael Case is saying, Benny and Cecil Bob clamped cartoon. Don't know that. Big Dave is wondering if Sid and Marty Krofft were always stoned. I think there's a good chance they were. And Gary Edminster is saying Jan Michael Vincent was on Danger Island, of all people. That's interesting. And Tim named a Japanese beetle Bailey. That's funny. Hagar the Horrible was a great comic strip. That one and Andy Cap I always liked. Tudor Turtle, says JMZ56. Is that the cartoon you're thinking of, Lord Hogarth? Not aware of that. Bob Clampett. Bob Clampett cartoon. Beanie and Cecil. Okay, Michael. Space Ghost. And name that pipe like the ant in the aardvark. Phil's saying, forget the caveman comic strip. I don't recall a caveman comic strip. Oh, yes, I do. What was that called? Id or something like that? Something Id. I saw something, I was looking at, it was either Amazon Prime or Netflix, and I saw something about the storyteller Jim Henson, Mr. Scripto. I didn't pay much attention to what it was, but it's definitely a thing. The Roadrunner did have some deep philosophical concepts running through it, Sailor. Very astute. And yes, Scooby-Doo, Big Dave. Scooby-Doo. Bringing Up Father with Maggie and Jiggs? I know Bringing Up Father, but I don't know it well enough to know who Maggie and Jiggs are, Patrick. Captain Caveman. That was completely different than what I'm thinking of. I was thinking of a caveman comic strip. But yes, Captain Caveman with the Teen Angels. Ugh. That's almost as bad as Roland and Ratfink, which is really bad. Mr. Peabody and his pet boy Sherman. Good one, Taciturn Richard. Birdman, that was an odd one. Oh, Gary, Rocky, and Bullwinkle. Yes. I love Space Ghost Coast to Coast, Tim. It was strange humor, but it really made me laugh. Beanie the Sick Sea Serpent. Oh, that sounds really familiar, Michael. Was this the... I might be mixing things up here, but who was it? Who was the Doctor Who? The guy that played Doctor Who prior to... God, I can't think of any Doctor Who names now. The guy with the scarf, probably the most famous one, the one that everybody thinks of. Well, he played it prior to him. He had white hair. He was an older looking gentleman. Fritz the cat does not count, Big Dave. How can I not think of these names? I'm telling you guys, I was reading an article today that someone sent me about Alzheimer's disease, and it was a work-related thing, but it was a popular press article, and it said, you know, some early signs of Alzheimer's disease, and it was things like not knowing where you put your car keys, walking into a room and forgetting why you went in there, not being able to remember the name of someone. And I thought, you know, if this is accurate, I probably started Alzheimer's when I was about 20 years old. John Pertwee, thank you, named that pipe. That's who I'm thinking of. John Pertwee had something to do with that Bernie and Cecil, or Benny and Cecil and the Six Sea Serpent. He was the voice of one of them or something. And maybe I'm just really mixing things up, but Pertwee was actually, when he died, he was buried with a puppet from one of these things that he was the voice of. And I thought it was something about a Six Sea Serpent. I know who you're talking about, Phil, but I can't remember the Explorer on Peabody and Sherman. I can barely remember the cartoon. I remember the Wayback Machine. And yes, there was a lot of BS history. BC, Jeffrey, that's the comic strip I was thinking of with Caveman. It was called BC. And yes, Beowulf and Miss Kathy, Foghorn Leghorn is a classic. Magilla Gorilla? Gorilla for sale? Good one, Peter. Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids. Yes, Big Dave. Gary said it since he was 30. Yeah, it's really, the way it was described was a little frightening. Actually pull it up because I was kind of surprised they got away with it. This is where I look up a text message that somebody sent me and then I accidentally elbow dial them while I'm talking to you. Always fun. Okay, so an early symptom of dementia is forgetfulness. People in the early stages of dementia may often experience the following situations. And by the way, I am, you know, a big part of what I do is to try to find a cure or treatments for folks with dementia. I am in no way making fun of it, but these are the early signs. So the early stages of dementia may often experience the following situation: unable to find their keys or glasses, suddenly can't remember what they're doing, can't remember what year it is, what day of the week it is, or the passwords to their bank accounts, slowly becoming unable to call people by their names, forgetting whether they have just taken their medication or what they ate at their last meal. I mean, honestly, I've experienced all of these within the past week. Oh, wow. So Boris says there was some kind of fire somewhere above his flat. Hope all is okay, Boris. Oh, the egghead kid with the slide rule and Foghorn Leghorn. That was hilarious. The chicken hawk. Wow, Winky Dink. I don't think I've ever seen it, Michael, but I think I remember someone telling me about it. Where you'd put the acetate up and draw on the screen. Or something like that. Yeah. Wow. No, this Sailor, this wasn't a research article, but I would not put that past some of the folks in that field. Uh, this was more of a popular science piece. Oh, that was actually empty there. Well, I'm done with the Edgeworth. Good stuff. But I like that I'm keeping it to one bowl a year because that will last me, and I really enjoy it. I mean, I would finish that jar in a couple of days if I didn't do this. This way I get to look forward to the 4th of July, and yeah, not that I wouldn't look forward to the 4th of July, but I get to look forward to enjoying the Edgeworth on the 4th of July as a regular thing. So, if I'm reading this right, Boris threw matches off his deck to get 2 women to come out in their PJs. Boris. Doc said blood work is perfect. Good because it quit. Statins, yes. Quit statins a year ago and drink 5 Bailey's daily. That'll do it, Phil. No, Gary, I thought there might be a little bit of tobacco at the bottom of that pipe, so I scraped the ash off and dumped it, and there was no little bit of tobacco at the bottom of it. I didn't forget to load it. I'm gonna reload the Memorial Savinelli with some Haunted Bookshelf. Got a few minutes left. Ron, I don't think it's the same thing. Losing your glasses is the same thing as your wife moving your glasses. But I do have to ask you if you would check with your friend. I'm curious if the wife sits there and watches your friend look for his glasses, smiling the whole time. Because if so, there might be another problem. Yeah, Boris, hopefully the M4 Kentucky won't put the firefighters back on alert. Ah, darn it. Out of food. So I would like to do some more contest giveaway type things, and I like doing them like this. I like doing them live. If anyone can come up with a way to do that, I've thought of a couple things, but they get really complicated. Just let me know if you have an idea. Glasses, keys, tools, usually exactly where you left them. Yeah. Let me ask you, Phil, if you ever had this problem, and maybe some of you other guys as well. I'm doing some cleanup down here, and I'm finding things that I made, like jigs and stuff that I made. I know I made them. My handwriting's on them. I have no idea what I made them for. And these took time. It's not like I'm not talking about like two pieces of wood nailed together. I'm talking about things where I have multiple layers and adjustments and I look at them and it's the strangest thing because you made this thing, but you don't remember making it and you don't know why you made it. And then what do? Do you throw it away? It's like a piece of my history that I don't understand. I have to do like I have to think like an archaeologist to try to figure it out. It is a puzzlement, Michael. It is indeed. Yeah, Tim, good point there on hypergamy. Yeah, you just get wrapped up in the next thing to come along. I get it, Phil. Two officers and a police dog shot in Kentucky. Well, that's unfortunate. That's yeah, that's right, Phil. 7 total? Cole? I missed that. Shouldn't say I missed it. I haven't been watching news. So. Yes, Beowulf and Miss Kathy. Not only do you remember the moment you throw it away, well, the moment it's gone, like you can't go dig through the trash and get it back. You remember why you made it, what it's used for, and you need it. It's funny, I didn't see anything about that either. Oh, that's right, Tim, you're in Kentucky. Did you hear about this? 7 policemen being shot. There's some more fireworks. America's birthday. Let's go blow our fingers off. Yeah, Phil, I know what you mean. And then, sometimes you don't get back to that thing. And If it's just parts, then you're not going to know what the heck it was. Yeah, Cole, I'm sure there are a lot of folks hurting from that. That's really terrible news. Yeah, the only news I get, I did subscribe to that Pour Over newsletter, which I do enjoy. But the problem with that is, like, one came out this morning, but by the time I read it, it was this afternoon. So that news is all, yesterday's news. And then the next one would come out on Monday. So there's just these big gaps in what I'm actually finding out about. And other than that, I sometimes see stuff on Instagram, but that's fairly trustable. National Emergency Room Day, July 5th. You're a lucky guy, Gary. And yeah, the truth is, when I was a kid, we had all that stuff, and I don't actually know anybody that blew their fingers off. We knew what we were. Well, we didn't know what we were doing, but we knew to not hold it in your hand when it went off. Tim also has all his fingers. Ah, you made a drawing, Phil. That's smart. That is smart. Fewer and smaller fireworks this year because of supply chain issues and not enough pyrotechnicians. Interesting. Oh, I didn't tell you about my car. I forgot to tell you. I got they said they wouldn't be able to look at it until July 27th, and it's fixed. I picked it up tonight. And I told you what the problem was, and you're all trying to guess. And are you ready for this? They don't know what the problem was, but it won't happen again. They only got it to stall once. They drove it. They were finished with it on Wednesday, and they said, "Do you want us to keep it another day?" And I said, "Look, I'll pick it up Friday night. Drive it as much as you can." They think it's one of 4 sensors, but they don't know which one, and they don't want to replace all of them because it would be very expensive. I don't know what that means. So it was apparently a fluke, and it may or may not happen again. They did clean out something called the throttle shield. I have no idea what that is. They said that should have been cleaned a long time ago, and maybe that's part of the problem. And here's the really interesting thing. So the whole saga with the car started, God, I don't know how long ago, almost a year ago, when I took it to a local mechanic who said, "You need a new steering wheel shaft." And there was, it was loose, as Voodoo will tell you, there was a loose nut behind the wheel. And they couldn't find the part, but they said, "If you find the part, we'll put it in for you." So I looked for the part, I couldn't find it. Took it to the dealer, they said, "Look, we're not going to do anything until we do diagnostics, and you're going to have to pay $200 for the diagnostics, whether we fix it or not. And if it is the steering wheel shaft, it's going to be at least a $2,000 job." And I didn't like their attitude. So I walked away from that, and I decided to find the part on my own. I did finally find it on Amazon, which seemed odd to me, but it was $400, something like that. And they said at the shop they'd put it in for about $500. The Hyundai dealer was quoting me $2,000. Anyway, to cut to the end of this, it wasn't the steering wheel shaft. It was the connector, which was an $8 part. I learned an important lesson from that. I just haven't quite figured out what it is yet. Sailor, enjoy the sushi and have a great 4th, my friend. Yeah, I know, Phil. It will happen again. I know. And the thing that worries me is it's okay if I'm just driving around here, but I can't take it on the highway. Because what was happening is if I slowed down, it would just shut down completely. And I just can't trust that, if I see stoplights coming on up ahead and I hit the brakes, all of a sudden the engine cuts out. That would be a bad situation. Smoke diving gear. Well, that is interesting. Well, I'm glad that they got the fire out, Boris, and hopefully everyone is safe there. Texas Piper Eddie's heading out too. You go right ahead. I know we're running over a little bit here. Anybody that wants to leave obviously can leave. I'm not gonna, can't stop you. So, is that the lesson, Michael? That everyone wants my money? Well, that's true, Smarty Bob. Car dealers do make more money repairing cars than they do selling them. That's definitely true. But I was absolutely convinced that the dealer was trying to rip me off. And in reality, I would have bought that part. I would have paid the mechanic at least $500. He would have gotten the thing apart and he would have said, "Oh, that's not the problem. We need to get a connector now." He probably wouldn't have been able to find the connector. That would have sent me off on another search. I don't even know if he'd be able to get it back together, so I might have wound up getting it towed to the dealer anyway. So I don't know. Yeah, Phil, I understand. I just don't know how to do that on this car. I mean, if this was my 75 Plymouth Gold Duster, I'd be able to troubleshoot it myself. I think it was a 75. That was my first car. Okay, Lord Hogarth had to replace all the sensors to get his Nissan. Yeah, I'm afraid it's going to be that. Good night, Beowulf and Miss Kathy. Have a great weekend and a fantastic 4th of July. Oh, that's a good thing, Ron. Resetting the error codes. That's really a good thing. Ah, Tim, you have all your finger. I get it. I get it. Okay. Poor Tim. He always has to explain his jokes to me. Oh yeah, the techs and mechanics have forgotten the basics of diagnosis. I mean, if you can't plug it into a computer and get an answer, I don't think they know what they're doing. Because that's what they were doing. They were driving the car with a computer hooked up to it, hoping that it would stall. And the one time it did, they didn't have the computer hooked up. But if I can find the mass flow sensor, as was suggested, I don't remember who suggested it. It might have been Gary. Cleaning that would probably be a good first start. Good place to start. But I drove it home and it was, no issue at all. I drove it it's about 10 miles from the dealer. And no problem. And it was odd driving it without that play in the steering wheel. It was like the steering's really tight now. Piper on the 45, thank you. Have a good night and a great 4th of July weekend. Jeffrey Feinberg, good night. And I think I'm gonna shut down for the night, folks. Thanks a lot for joining me and for making Friday so much fun. So again, all you folks celebrating the 4th of July, have a happy 4th of July and a great weekend. Enjoy it. Everyone else, have a fantastic weekend. Thank you all once again. I will finish this up. I will most likely be making a video on Sunday, hopefully with some of that Haunted Bookshop flake that James Stumbo so kindly sent me. And if I don't see you then, I'll see you next Friday right here. So take care all, and we'll see you soon.